Yeah, I have a new phone case and it doesn't have a kickstand. I really love that kickstand. It's like such a handy thing. Um, anyway, I'm sitting here absorbing some content about education and how difficult it is to educate Generation Z and Gen Alpha. And that's kind of shocking to me. My sister is like, I guess, one of the older Generation Z, and she's just like a perfect child. She was always just, you know, very smart, very curious, very respectful. If I told her no, or if anyone told her no, she wouldn't do it. She's just a good girl, and very, very dedicated to her studies. Very devoted to her friends. She's just a great girl. She's just the perfect child. Um, you know, I would want my child to be as great as Allie is, because she's just great. She's just a great girl. Um, I just love her. And so it's always very shocking for me to hear how the rest of her generation has turned out, because Allie's childhood was a little different than other kids, just as my childhood was somewhat different than my peers. But Allie had the benefit of having basically four parents. If she had me and Casey, her two older siblings were, like 12 years older than her. And then she had our parents, and we were always around, always able to help her out. So she had a very different experience as a kid, being just the one child, kind of doted on by everybody. And Allie's a sweet girl, so I think she enjoyed it, and was motivated to grow up, because she wanted to be able to help out, be one of the big girls. So, yeah, I don't see that Gen Z has that same attitude. I think because they didn't have as much parental involvement. You know, it's always nice to have lots of adults in your life as a kid. It's kind of intimidating to just have, just one. I can't imagine how most of Gen Z lives if they are just living in single-parent homes. They just have one mom to talk to, That's just not enough. I don't think that, every single family needs to have, their kids 13 years apart or anything like that, but I know that my sister helped me grow into a young adult from, basically a child, because 12 is a very formative year, especially for girls. So, having siblings definitely helped me become an adult, and I know that same thing could be true for Generation Z, but I think the differences are that Generation Z is one of the first generations in a long time that has been predominantly single parent for whatever reason. I think men are really difficult to work with, so most women make the choice okay, no, I don't want to deal with you. Because they're raising kids, they don't want the kids to be taking on any snotty behaviors. But women aren't as critical of ourselves as we are of others. I'm just speaking generally because I'm very critical of myself. But there's things about myself that I'll let slide. You know what I mean? And oh, it's not that big of a deal. Just that I do it, But I think it's a community-wide issue, because a lot of these kids are all displaying the same shitty behavior. So at first, when this whole single mother or single parent epidemic began, I was it must be the men. It's so easy to blame men. They're most of the time they're absent, so you figure it's the person that's not there that's causing the problems. Excuse me, not the person who is there. And that's what most women are saying, we've been here, we're taking care of the kids. Excuse me, why are you blaming us? It's because, one person can't do the job of four people. Well, you can do it, but you can't, you're not going to masterfully do it. and you're not going to get like a super well-rounded kids. That expression, it takes a village, is very true, because you have to have an uncle, an auntie, a cousin, a grandma, a grandpa. Your kid needs to have all these different people in their life so that they can feel connected to something. And like there's someone or something out there that cares about them that they belong to. And I don't see that Generation Z really seems to have that. A lot of them seem like they're only children with just a mother at home. That would be very scary. That's like almost like being an orphan. And I'm sure any of those kids like expressing that idea are made to feel like that's, totally ridiculous. But your feelings are valid, like if you feel them, then that's like kind of how you shape your reality. So if you feel like you're an abandoned child, even if your mother stayed, you still were abandoned by your father. So I relate to that. Generation Z doesn't know how to read, like at all, I think, because we're all just too busy getting online and seeing what everyone else is talking about to like improve our reading comprehension, which is funny. I don't know. I wonder, looking at all of these Gen Z kids and seeing all these testimonies from these different teachers, it's just absolutely terrifying to think that all these kids are acting like the same, like, bitter woman, and then they're teaching their kids to act like, bitter single women, thinking that the kid's going to be something other than exactly like them. It's my goal as a mom to make my daughter better than me in any way that I can. I want to provide her the same or better than I had. And what I had is a 2-parent household. Both of my parents ended up going to college. And I've always really looked up to my mom. My mom has worked so hard. She went to school all through my childhood. So I was like, okay, college is a really big deal. This is something you should do if you really want to get a good job. Because she did get a good job after that. So it's hard to see, like, a career that's, like, what happened? Whatever. A career that's, like, for women kind of being attacked. It definitely seems intentional. Mostly women are teachers, right? So it's other women's kids that are just like, I don't have to do that. You're not my mom. I just don't know who, clearly those are kids that are only ever around their mom. Their mom never, you never have them around their cousins or an auntie or anything, because, like, you do have to listen to adults as a kid. It doesn't really matter who the adult is. You're like, okay, fine. I won't go run in the street. Fucking bitch. So it's just, I don't know. It's really sad to hear, like, kids at, like, dance lessons, like, aren't behaving. They don't even want to learn how to do something. They're just little shits. I would be so devastated if I was a parent. Like, really, the solution, if your kid's acting shitty like that, is to fucking spank them. I don't know what else to do. I have that issue with my daughter where she'll, like, keep going for something and keep going for something and keep going for something and keep going for something. And I'm like, what do? I told her no. With my little sister, when I told her no, she just stopped. So with Brooke, I have to, like, swat her hand. And people, oh, it's child abuse. I don't want to raise a shitty little kid like all of you have. I'm not going to have the problems any of you are having. If I say no, right, and then my kid doesn't listen to me, I'm the parent. It's my job to correct them. You are going to do as I say. Because if you don't, you're going to end up in jail or dead. It's that simple. It's that simple. The rules are in place for a reason. They're not optional.